Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, Evil Dungeon Master Universe channel here on YouTube. I wanted to say good morning to everyone, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk a little bit about podcasting in general. I had received a bunch of emails for people asking me that, since recently found me, what they could do to get into podcasting. And while there's a lot of really good information out there now on Google, I don't like to tell people go Google it or go figure it out yourself. I'd love to help people when it comes to podcasting. I've been podcasting for probably, I don't know, since high school. And in high school, when we did podcasting, it wasn't called podcasting, it was just called radio show. When I was in high school, we, as in me and my friend Scott, who passed away in the last couple of years, God rest his soul. I miss you, Scott. I really do. He was a good guy. We used to do in high school, we had a little TV studio, which we did the morning news. I was part of the AV club. Yeah, the Geek Club. Imagine that, a geek playing D&D. After all that was over, we would basically have run of the land in there, and we used to take the audio equipment and set it up and do our own fake radio show and record it on a cassette tape. And we'd have like sound effects, ringing, phones, stuff like that. And we would make up funny voices of, like, he would have his garbage man. It was called the Scott Blaney Show, and he was Scott, and he was the host of the show. He was supposed to be, this kind of like morning show host guy. I don't know, funny man, whatever. And I was the straight man in the conversation. I would come in and just, be his like news guy or something dumb like that. He would have people call him throughout the day. Like his garbage man would call and talk about how his garbage was wrong, how he was going to throw the garbage cans, and here or there. He'd have his Dr. Quack call. A bunch of voices like that. He had his psychic would call daily. His psychic was just like this is your psychic. He would just do something like that. And we put this on tape. Eventually it got around to a bunch of people, to the point that we were making tapes and handing it around to people in school to listen to, because it was just dumb shit that we did in high school. The AV leaders, the teachers, also wanted copies because they passed them around the teachers because they thought it was funny too. Later on, we switched roles, and it became the Kent Clark Show, and I was Kent Clark, pretending to be, I was Clark Kent, pretending to be Superman in hiding, called Kent Clark. Lois would never figure it out because, the whole glasses thing. And I was the straight man show host, and Scott did all the funny voices and stuff like that, and drove me up the wall when we did that with fake sound. As time went on, I started doing my own podcasting on Live 365. Maybe you remember those, Live 365. You can host your own radio show on those things. I think it's long gone now, but and then podcasting became a thing. So I started doing podcasting for gaming, something that came natural. Just anything. I started with D6, with West End Games, working with Eric Gibson, and I was doing those podcasts with him. And then I moved into Darker Days Radio, which is the World of Warcraft. Wow, White Wolf's Vampire and things like that. Worked closely with Eddie Webb and White Wolf at the time. So, I get your foot in the door there. And then I finally started doing, the old school podcast that I've done that started the old school podcast boom. Everyone started getting into podcasting, and then we got, then Anchor finally showed up, and that's how a lot of people started podcasting, because it was free. You didn't have to set up WordPress or anything like that. And now we have various sites that you can do that for free. So I've got a couple emails of people asking me advice on starting a podcast. And I said, well, first of all, you have to find your topic for the podcast, what you feel people would want to listen to, whether that be about gardening, whether that be about auto repair. It doesn't matter. Just find the topic that you're passionate about and talk about it. Whether it's a solo podcast like I do daily, or you have a partner. Make sure your partner is either local, or if they're on the internet, which most of mine are, make sure they have a good internet connection and a very good microphone, because microphones audio quality can make or break a podcast. I can't tell you how many podcasts. Now, backing up a step, the reason why I'm such a pain in the ass when it comes to podcasting is because when I worked for a radio station in New York. They taught me how to edit, and I did a lot of editing for them, as well as being on the air once a week at night at 11 o'clock doing radio. But I learned, an ear for audio and what I like for audio. And I don't know if this microphone's coming in that great, but I don't care. So I would learn how to do editing and stuff like that. So if I heard something that's bad, I can hear something that's bad now. And I know personally me, if the audio is crap, I'm not listening to the show. And there's quite a few people back in early podcasting days that used to plop things down on the table and record their actual play because that was all they had. And those things drove me nuts because there'd be echoes, there'd be people in the background, there'd be dogs barking, babies crying, and none of that stuff. When I do podcasting now, I try to make sure people have a good microphone or at least a good headset. That's the first thing you want to get is a good headset or a good microphone setup. You can buy them very cheaply on Amazon at this point. Get yourself good quality audio. Get yourself a good quality audio editor like Mixcraft, for example, is not that expensive. You could probably do Audacity or Odyssey, whatever it's called. It's free. You can set it up. It doesn't have as many bells and whistles as most of the major major platforms that they have for editing. But that's all. And you want to find music that's generally free. You can search on the web. Sometimes YouTube will allow you to use free music in their creator music thing that's on the option for your YouTube channel. Otherwise, you could just search for public domain music or royalty-free music for your show. Or if you want to, just use whatever music the hell you want to use. There's plenty of podcasts out there that use, I don't know, music from popular bands for their shows. I mean, we did it for a long time, too, on Roll for Initiative and Save or Die and That Goes Hammer. We all got whatever we needed to do. So once you start doing that and you start getting your topics, start creating a spreadsheet or, I don't know, maybe a Word document that you could share amongst you and your co-host and try to pick out topics together when it comes to the show. If you both are passionate about, say, auto mechanics and you're doing a show about car and engine building, focus on what you want to do for that episode and try to put out little bullet points. I don't suggest scripting your podcast at all because that's not a really good idea, because scripting just sounds awful. And a lot of people, when they read scripting, you could tell they're reading. I've only seen one podcast that some people have done scripting for that actually kind of sounded natural, but you can tell they were still reading the script. I'd rather have a podcast where it's a general discussion. I like the people to sit down or walk or whatever, or exercise, and think they're actually in the room with me and my co-host while we're doing the podcast. It's important to make them feel like they're listening to a discussion, something that they're going to want. They'll be like, and they want to get involved with. So bullet points is probably your best bet when it comes to doing the podcast and then trying to get your topics out. Have a way to communicate with your fans as well. Once you start getting a little into podcasting and get some listeners, you're going to want an email address and or a Facebook and or a Twitter, X, whatever you call it these days. Just some type of point of contact on social media so your fans can get in contact with you, because people want to give you feedback, and feedback is what drives more shows. It helps you improve as a podcaster. It gives you ideas that your people want to hear so you can give it to them. And that's generally how podcasting will work. There's not much more to it other than finding your platform such as Spotify for podcasting and uploading it. And you can also distribute it through them with their instructions to get it to Apple and things like that. So there's not a lot of work to be done on the back end like you used to. It's all, if you find the right site, it's all automated. I think there was one, I can't think what it was called. Podbeam does it for not for free. They do have a free plan, but there is one that's paid that'll automatically redistribute everything for you. You can also do your podcast like I do mine, Spotify, RSS feed to your YouTube, and you're done. You don't have to really do anything. It just automatically uploads, and then you hit public when you're ready to have it go public on your YouTube. So you can also start a podcast on your YouTube only as well. You just go right to there and create a list and make a podcast. You can go to Apple Podcasts for that matter and use that as your distribution now, because when you sign up as a creator for Apple Podcasts, it gives you the option to host it on Apple for free. So you can go that route. And if you do it through Apple, they'll distribute it automatically for you in other places, I found. So there's that. Let's think here. Once you start getting a bunch of episodes under your belt, it's a good idea to start reaching out to popular guests out there. Now, when I mean a popular guest, like people in the community that are a voice, an expert. People like to hear from experts. People like to hear, sometimes you mix it up with a different opinion. You may want to get in, like if you're talking, again, auto mechanics. I don't know why I keep going back to that. Maybe because I was reading something about auto mechanics and trying to fix something the other day. But you're building an engine. Maybe you want to get a guy in the community, in the forums, that's a 50. He's got so many years as a mechanic. Maybe you want to have him sit in and give his advice along with your advice and have a different opinion for your listener. And if it's someone that's like a famous person or maybe someone that people follow, it'll help your podcast out as well. If you go reach out to other podcasts, you can collaborate with them. Most of the podcast people are more than willing to collaborate with people, regardless of their size. There are a few of them that are kind of snotty about it and are thinking you're too small to collaborate with. But if you are a true podcaster and a true person of this hobby, it won't matter to you. Like me, I don't really care. I'll collaborate with anybody that seems genuine and has a grasp on how it works. So I'm not worried about a guy that's just starting out. I don't care. I'll help you like I've been doing with other people here on this channel. That's what it's all about. Sharing and, getting the community together to share their passionate ideas. That's all I'm doing here. And my channel is basically just what it is. My passion for gaming and talking about gaming. I don't get involved with the drama or the clickbait or all these other channels out there. Like you constantly see them saying they're the victim of this or that. Or, they start doing videos and they don't get views, so they go back to drama again. Claiming they're a victim or something dumb like that. I don't really care for those things, and I usually just click off of them and don't subscribe to them. I'm here to talk about gaming. So the things on my channel are generally always going to be gaming. On our live stream, Random Rolls, we talk about random stuff as far as gaming, movies, whatever. Anything that's geeky, pretty much. And on our members stream on Fridays, we generally do, now we've switched over to playing an actual game where the members can contribute to the game while we play it live. And they seem to like that. So that's another benefit you can have with this channel when you join it for 99 cents a month. You can get videos ahead of time, as well as the members stream every Friday night where we play a game and you guys can contribute to the game. And of course, the first couple of minutes we do chat with you and just talk about stuff. So the members get a chance to have just a one-on-one conversation with us, as well as watch the game. So there's fun all around here on the channel. Anyway, so for podcasting, that's really the basics of it. Find yourself a good microphone. You can basically go on Amazon and buy any USB type microphone, and then move on from there. Like I said, get your shows notes in order. Get topics ahead of time. Ask for feedback. Bring on guests. Distribute your podcast and have fun. If you're not having fun doing YouTube, podcasting, whatever, don't do it. If you look at yourself 3 weeks down the line and you're like, oh, this is work, don't do it. You may want to stop doing it right then and there. Anytime you think any of this stuff that you're doing is become a job, you may want to drop out. You're supposed to do this because you have a passion for doing it, or you have a like for doing it at minimum. That's really mostly what I have to say. So that's my talk about podcasting and this channel. I like doing videos just like this, just sitting at the desk here. No intro, no outro, just a general how do you do, type thing. So anyway, tell me what you think in the comments. hopefully you're enjoying things here on the channel as we grow closer to 10,000. We're climbing that hill. Never thought I would have 10,000, close to 10,000. Well, not really right now. It's almost close to 8,000, but as we climb closer and closer to 10,000 viewers. So anyway, I'm going to head out. Keep it original, keep it old school. Good night. God bless, and may your days be bright. I don't know. Happy holidays.